I blame Pontius Pilate myself. You know what I mean? Am I right or what? I mean, if he was stronger, if he'd stamped on them before they got out of order, then we wouldn't be having this trouble with them in the first place. I mean, let's be fair. I don't care what they call themselves. Christians, followers of the Nazarene, whatever. They can do what the hell they like as far as I'm concerned, just so long as they keep the law. I mean, look at it this way, right? We pay our rates and we pay our taxes, and it isn't cheap living here. And in my book, that entitles us not to have any trouble. No mobs, no loud music, and no overnight camping. No long-haired weirdos and their mates wobbling round, having visions and frightening the horses. They can preach sermons, do miracles, do what the hell they like, but they've got to keep within the law. And round here, just as it happens, that's the Roman law. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, I'm no pal of the Romans, but they bring a lot of money into this town. A lot of money. There's a lot of people round here would be in deep doo-doo if the Romans pulled out. And in any case, if it wasn't them that was running the place, there'd still be the zealots or that Masada lot taking over in no time. Better the devil you know is what I say. Am I right or what? I mean, look at it this way. You see that bloke over there? The one with a bit of a squint and a belly like a poisoned camel? Well, he's the head of the garrison supplies, right? Quartermaster Sergeant. Well, where do you think that nice bit of red you're drinking tonight come from? Correct. We have a bit of an understanding, see? Whereby the occasional barrel of extremely good officer-type Plunko del Plunko doesn't quite make it to the garrison cellars. And in return, I fix him up with a bit of skirt, let him have a bedroom upstairs, and keep extremely stum. I mean, let's be fair, right? I don't like the Romans any more than you do. But business is business. And remember, it's business that makes the world go round. It's all right having your big ideals and your philosophies, but big ideals never put the loaf on the table. Am I right? You've got to get real. Go with the flow. You know what I mean? I mean, same as tonight, right? These Christians are having a party. They're upstairs now. 13 of them. I know it's an unlucky number, that. I told them, but they said they weren't superstitious. They come round this morning, 2 of them, looking for a room. Old Simeon brought them in. You know the bloke that fills the water tank out the back? Right. Well, they come in and they says, can we rent your upstairs room for the night and can you do a supper for 13? So, I gives them a good looking at, and one of them's scruffy and grubby looking, but the other one looks, you know, quite smart, and he has a purse hanging from his waist, must be giving him an hernia. So I think, well, they must have the brass then, you know. So I says, what is it? Is it a darts club or a Masons or a Rotary or what? I can see the strangers, like, not from round here, you know. And he says, no, it's just a party. So I says to them, well, I'm short-staffed, like, because of all the troubles and the cook having died of food poisoning, and that it'll just have to be basic stuff like wine and cheese and bread and cold meat and fish and that. You know, a bit of this and a bit of that. I said I can probably get her next door to bake him a cake if it's a birthday. And they say, no, it's not a birthday, and the bread and cheese and that'll be fine. And how much is it? So I take another look at them, think of a number, double it, add a bit more, and tell them they'll get 10% off for cash. What the taxman doesn't know about, he doesn't worry about. Am I right or what? Well, one of them says, ooh, that's a bit steep. We got a room inside and for only half that last week. Yeah. So I says, hey, pal, you're not inside and you're in Jerusalem, right? And if you can find a better place for that price with the town mobbed out like it is, then I'll come with you. Because it's costing me more than that just to live here. What with the taxes and the water rates and the bills going up every 5 minutes. Well, he shut up then, didn't he? Didn't have anything to say to that. Stum. That's him over there. You see him in the corner? The little bloke with a face like a busted clog. Judas the Chariot or something he's called. I've told the lads to keep their eye on him. He looks like he'd steal the saddle off a nightmare. So, and he rode up. Wait till I tell you this. I says to him, what name is the booking in? And he says, Jesus of Nazareth. And I says to myself, uh-oh, we've got the big one here, the lad himself. But I think, well, business is business, and Christian money is the same as any other, and nobody else is going to be looking for a room this late on. And as my old man, God bless her, used to say, better 50 in your pocket than 500 in your imagination. So, I got some of the lads to come in tonight and stand the doors in case it goes off. They're handy lads, ex-military most of them, they can handle themselves. I says to them, keep an eye on upstairs, it could go off. There's 13 of them up there, and some of them look dead hard. Fishermen from Galilee and that, you know. So the lads are well primed. And I says to him also, I says, watch out for any Romans trying to gate crash. Some of them legionnaires can get where water couldn't. I mean, I don't like trouble, right? I'm not one for trouble. But we're living in very funny times, you know. The Romans is very twitchy, underpaid and overworked, half of them slaves or press gang, and they hate it here. Don't like the food, it's too hot, it's too many flies, not enough hot water. It's going off all over the place. It's very tense, very, very tense. Barabbas is up for the drop in a couple of days, right? And he's got some very powerful pals who are not at all happy about that. Not at all happy. And then, along comes this Jesus geezer with his preaching and his miracles and his render to Caesar business and whipping the moneylenders out of the temple. They've been here for years, some of them moneylenders. You know what I mean? And then to go around calling yourself the Son of God, in my book, that's asking for it. He seems a nice enough bloke, though. No, he does, seriously. He's a bit taller than me, reddish hair, a beard, clean looking, workman's hands, you know. Used to be a chippy, they reckon, over Nazareth way. He says hello when they all come in, so I think, well, Josh, take him as you find him. Give him the benefit of the doubt. And remember, the customer is always right. I went up an hour back, just to see if everything was all right, to check on the food and that. Well, some of it wasn't as fresh as it might have been, having come from the back door of the garrison kitchen. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, you know what I mean? Of course, that stupid little Labia's made a cock-up of everything. 11 forks, 20 knives, salt cellar empty, no lemon in the finger bowls. He's bloody useless, that kid. And I don't know what they teach him in school nowadays, but it ain't common sense. Anyway, I gave them all a couple of flagons of wine on the house just to sweeten them and got it all sorted. And then I hung on, just to see if they needed anything else. And there was an atmosphere. I don't know what it was, but I could smell it. Like all those apostles or whatever you call them were getting well into the Plonco del Flonco and partying and away the lads and all the Galilee rubbish. And right in the middle of it all, this Jesus bloke tells him he's leaving them. Wham! It's like, end of party. Whoa, excuse me, good night, Vienna. And then they all start throwing wobblers. Why? What? When? Where? Looks like the end of the world to them. Then Jesus says something about one of them betraying him. But nobody listens because they're all rabbiting away. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? Except that Judas geezer. I'm watching him all the time because of the knives and forks, and I see him go for the finger bowl at the same time as Jesus. And there's this look, you know, between them. And I think, uh-oh. No, not a Nancy boy look, it's something else. It's like, I know what you're doing, and you know I know what you're doing too. You know what I mean? And then that Peter, the big one, he puts his head on Jesus' shoulder, and he's nearly in tears. Nearly in tears he is. And I'm thinking to myself, what a bloody carry on. It's nearly as bad as that sportsman's dinner for the police when that stripper caused a fight and my window went through. The atmosphere's terrible. Then he asks me for water and a towel. And I think to myself, what the hell does he want that for? And when I bring it, he starts washing their feet. As I'm standing here, may I never leave this spot, washing the bloody feet. He's on his knees on the floor and he goes round a lot of them, washing the dirty, manky plates of meat. He's supposed to be the leader. What kind of an example is that to set your men? How are they ever going to respect him after that? Seems bloody balmy to me. Oh, and then, this is a good one. I thought I'd heard the lot, but then he come out with a cracker. Oh, he starts some stuff about him being a vine, and there all the branches or something, and that should the branches wither, the vine will die, but the life that is in the vine goes out to the branches. Well, that sends half of them into a deep study, like they're trying to work it all out, and it's giving them brain damage. I've decided it's all too much for me, and then, out of the corner of my eye, I see him lean over when no one's looking and say to that Judas, if you're going to do it, then do it quickly. Those were his very words as I'm standing here, on my life. And I think, hello, hello, what's the score here? And Judas goes scuttling off downstairs, and that's when I come back down to keep my eye on him. Three plates and a finger bowl broken and two of my best forks missing. I'm going to try and find that little Judas the chariot to pay for the breakages. He's off. Give it a swerver. Went like sugar off a shovel, Abe says. Last seen heading towards Gethsemane with that weasel from the anti-terrorist squad and 2 of my best bloody forks as well. One of the other lads paid. Could have been worse, I suppose, and at least they left a good tip. I still can't work it out, though. I mean, all right, let's just suppose for one moment that he is the Messiah. No, hear me out. Hear me out, just for the sake of argument, right? Let's suppose that what he says is right and that he can cure the lame and the blind and all the rest of it. Accepting that, accepting all of it, what's the Son of God doing knocking round with scrubbers and fishermen and scruffy tax collectors? I mean, am I right or what? You see where I'm coming from? The real Son of God would be hobnobbing with Pharisees and scribes. He'd be helping business people, the wealth creators, not cripples and prostitutes and lepers. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know it's not your fault if you're a leper. Some very nice people have ended up as lepers. Professional people. But there's thousands of them. You'd never get through all them in a month of Sabbaths. You've just got to be selective. Use your common sense. You pick out the ones you can cure that'll give you a good return for your money. That's common sense, that is. I mean, if you went into partnership with someone, you know, got a bit of money behind him, he could start up a clinic, couldn't he? He could make a fortune instead of wasting his time on every cripple and blind beggar he comes across. And what's he doing? He's wandering round the place curing every manky leper and scabby cripple that he sees in the street and knocking around with fishermen with their backsides hanging out of their trousers and tarts like that. Mary, what's her name? Her with the long hair. She's no better than she should be. Now, he's a nice enough sort of bloke, but he's out of touch with reality. That Judas knows what he's doing. Follows Jesus round, does a bit of business here, does a bit there. He's a realist. What you might call a wealth creator. Same as myself. Jesus. Well, he's a nice enough bloke, but another 5 years and he'll be forgotten. Nobody will have heard of him. Am I right, or what? They'll be going, Jesus? Jesus who? Never heard of him. Who was he? A general? Great conqueror? Pal of Caesar's? Nah, he'll be gone, forgotten. He's writing his name in the dust. Here, you having another one? No, go on, I'll stand them. I've done all right out of tonight.